Hey folks, Rich here at RCINFORMER. Today I have the latest and greatest coming from FMS Models. This is our all-new 3,000 millimeter Fox glider, 6-cell powered. FMS has made some spectacular gliders in the past. There was a 2.3 meter, I think, Fox glider years ago that was a very good airplane. This is sure to be a winner. FMS has a history of all kinds of smaller gliders, Fox gliders. I'm going to throw some links up here somewhere where you guys can see when I did the MOA glider video. I think it was 1500 millimeter and the LET 13. Those are some spectacular gliders. But now we have an all snapped together 3-meter wingspan glider. And this is going to be simply fantastic, folks. So let's take a look at some of the specs and then we'll get inside the box. All right, guys, as we take a look at the outside of the box, this box is huge, hard to maneuver. You can see the specs on this thing. 3,000 millimeter or 118 inches, so it's a huge airplane, folks. 73 inches long, has a 4258 550 kV motor, 70 amp speed controller, 6 servos. CG I'll check out as I fly it and report back to you guys. Prop is a folding propeller, 15 inch by 7.5, and it uses a 5022 or a 6-cell 5000 milliamp pack, folks. So this is going to be sweet. I'll maneuver this thing as best as I can here, but this is pretty giant. One of the things that's cool about all the FMS planes, the newer ones anyway, is they are glueless and screwless. You can take a look at this picture. This thing just snaps together and you're ready to go flying. So FMS is the fastest out of the box, folks, for sure. And this thing looks pretty sweet. So again, it shows the features here again. Snap together assembly, no glue or screws, 30-minute flight times, because after all, guys, this is a glider, so it's going to be real nice. Folding propeller and flaps. The flaps are probably going to be necessary on this thing because you're going to need the drag to slow this thing down and get it to come down. So with that, folks, I'm going to stick this box off to the side. This box is so huge, it does not even fit in my frame, and I'm not even going to try. So you can see how big it is, and you can see with a 3-meter wingspan, this huge carbon tube that runs the length of the box. This fuselage is gigantic. The packaging on this thing is spectacular, and you can just see how big this thing is compared to my hand. This is a giant model. This is sure to be a winner, and I can't wait to get this one out of the box. So with that, let's get it out of the box and we'll take a look at all the parts. Here's the layout of all the parts that came out of the box, minus one wing, of course. This thing is so big. Each wingspan is about 1.5 meters, so this thing's giant. Starting here up at the top, folks, is the fuselage. It has the motor, speed controller, battery compartment, wireless wing connectors. Everything's ready to go. Your vertical stabilizer and rudder, that's all ready to kind of cam lock in place, and I'll show you that. Horizontal stabilizer and elevator, got servo mounted, wires ready to be plugged right in. Your main wing right here with aileron and flap, really nicely hinged all the way around. I'll show you that in detail, the main spar. This is a tail spar right here to actually connect the tail tube, and I'll show you that as well. There's also a spare pad to put another pilot in if you want, which is also pretty sweet. A lot of guys like to have different pilots, and the instruction manual. So I'm going to start off, folks, actually with one of these wing panels. You can see how ginormous this thing is. It's simply gigantic. If I go around it this way, it kind of looks like the Star Destroyer at Star Wars coming at you. It just kind of doesn't really end. It just kind of keeps on going. But great finish. You can see my light up above reflecting back on this, and it is just a glassy, smooth finish, just top and bottom. They're using something now that's really making these things nice and smooth all the way around. Nice stickers applied everywhere. As I start here at the root, you can see they're using these new connectors here that are going to be incorporated, I think, in most new airplanes. And here's your spar receiver tube, and these are wireless, which is sweet. So you just plug this right in. Ailerons and flaps are connected and everything. And these are your cam locks, folks. You can see right there, there's a pin down in there where this thing snaps into place, and you have these two little snaps. So you put your spar in, you run this into your receiver, right into that pocket right there in the fuselage, and then these actually, you squeeze these together, or they do it on their own, and then once it's seated, they snap out and the wings are locked in place. So it's that easy to connect, disconnect without any wires or anything. So FMS is really leading the way on the wireless wing connector. It's pretty darn sweet. Servos here are already installed with the boxes that you can, pry these things off, and you can get right into that screw. And if you need to replace a servo, you can get right in there, unscrew it, and replace the servo if necessary without having a a servo that's glued in place. So really nice linkage here all the way around. You adjust that with a set screw right there. And you can see here, folks, all submerged style hinges all the way down. Same thing with the aileron. Aileron's same servo arrangement, same horn arrangement. Really robust horn mechanism all the way around. So tail wheel, or sorry, not tail wheel, but a wing wheel here, folks. Really pretty sweet. Looks like it's a little stiff. I'll have to loosen that up, throw a little oil in there. But that's for when you you know, touch down and your wing kind of drags a little bit. You got a wheel there and a little plastic support pylon for it. So, but really nice all the way around. Really nicely applied decals. Super fine finish on this thing. Keep in mind, the wings of the old days were just one piece popped out. These new FMS wings with the submerged style hinge, the wing is one or two pieces. This is a piece. This section here is a piece, and this is a piece, and it has an internal style hinge. Same thing with the flat. You have a piece of foam right here that's glued on, a piece here, and then this piece on the outer is a separate piece. So these are all separate pieces that are assembled. So, you know, folks that talk about some of these foam models getting expensive, it's because these are actually all assembled. So we have a very nice, let me see if I can demonstrate it, a really nice submerged style of hinge that rotates around a center point. So really sweet mechanism. I love these plastic fittings FMS is putting in everything. You can see the spar goes all the way down there. And again, that tube is just huge. That's got to be at least 1.3 meters long spar tube all the way around. But overall, folks, the wing panel is mighty, and it is a very, very nice wing. The next part up to show you is the horizontal stabilizer and elevator package. This is one piece. It's like the wing, it's very robust. There's a lot of spar in here, and it's pretty stiff all the way around. And it's fully assembled, and it is also wireless. This is one of the nice features that FMS is putting into everything. You literally just slide this on with these channels right in that horizontal stabilizer notch, and it already gets automatically plugged in. You probably want to check your tabs, make sure they're all seated all the way in there, but it slides all the way into place, and it snaps in with a catch mechanism. There's a little pin down there, and I'll probably show you how that all fits in together. And it literally just snaps in place. Again, you've got spars running down here. You can see those through the wing, or through the stabilizer just a little bit. One running here, one running here. It looks like they've had one here and one here. Had a little box damage on mine, as you can see here, from one of the pins sticking out, so I think something shifted in the box. But aside from that, folks, this has a super smooth finish all the way around. Again, hinged around a center point, guys. Submerged style hinges. Nothing but the best. It's just fantastic here. Nice plastic fittings here in the middle all the way around. Again, nice slides. You have your servo box, again, with screws that attach. Same style of horn and linkage assembly that attaches your servo to your elevator, but really nice mechanism, folks. Again, glueless and screwless, just one sweet elevator. The next part up to show you is the combination vertical stabilizer, rudder, and rear fuselage section. It's all one piece. Really nice wheel on the underside, guys, ready to go for landings anywhere. Real nice plastic fitting, folks. This plastic fitting fits on that plastic fitting. There's a spar that goes in here, and you can see how this spar tube works. This is a real robust spar. I think it's about 17 millimeters, 17.5. That fits right in, and this whole thing slides onto the tail. And it goes in at sort of an angle, like at a diagonal, and then it rotates and locks in place. There's two connections to make here, one for your elevator, one for your rudder, and you're good to go. This is the locking pin, which I'll show you on the top. You can kind of see it in the shot right there. But really nice overall around. Submerged style hinges everywhere. Again, you can see the different parts. You can see this line right here, which is another component of the rudder. And you can see the seam here, where that's all joined together. Super nice finish. Very nice stickers all the way around on this thing. Whoever applied them, they went on pretty nice. And overall, same rudder or same servo system with your screws and your linkage. And again, everything rotates around a center point here, folks. You can see how nice that is. So to bring you to this, to show you how this all connects, you can see this real nice plastic fitting here. They did a beautiful job with this thing. There's a pin here and a latch mechanism here that you pull, and you see it when you pull on that, it releases the pin there and locks the pin in place. And then right here is your servo connector for your elevator. So just to show you how easy this airplane is to put together. Again, notice there's no bag of screws here, folks. This thing really just goes together. So years ago when I was dealing with FMS with all their improving their airplanes, doing product support and R&D and improvements and stuff, I told them the fastest you can make this thing out of the box and easier for people to put together, the better off it will be. And they took it quite literally, folks. You can see how nicely this goes together. It literally slides in place. You can see your servo connector right there, how it joins right there. You don't even have to plug it, it plugs itself. And then once you put this in place, there is a hole right in there that pin at the bottom should lock into. And as I push it in, you can see it just popped right in. And that's what locks your elevator in place. And you're done with assembly, folks. That's how that goes together. And it disassembles just as easily if you want to transport it, because the tail of this is pretty big. And if you need to take that off, it literally is, and it's actually easier for me to do this with two hands, so I may or may not be able to do this on camera. We'll see how this goes. But you literally pull that pin up and then just push the elevator out, and you can see how nicely that slides apart. So real easy to assemble and disassemble. I'm just sort of blown away. I just dropped the fuselage spar there that gets this thing on. But absolutely fantastic how nice that this thing goes together and how it all locks into place. It's just simply awesome. FMS is really cornering the market on airplanes that need little to nothing. They are literally the fastest out of the box. Fantastic empennage on this airplane. The last item up that I'm going to attempt to show you guys here is the fuselage, and I say that because this thing is a monster. This thing is absolutely huge. It is very solid feeling, very robust. The finish is fantastic. The decals are applied nicely. Starting up front here, folks, is the prop and spinner. You can see, I think it said it was a 15-inch folding prop. It has an aluminum, you can see this is all aluminum and machined up here. I think what I'm going to end up doing with this thing is, because there's an E-ring or a retaining ring on both sides of this thing, I think what I'm going to do, as you guys know if you watch my videos, I'm going to put contact cement on this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing, on all four of those, just to keep those in place. I wouldn't want one of those to fly off. And a little contact cement will keep those in place. Rubber cement now, not CA. Rubber cement, and that'll keep those in place, and if you need to remove them later, you can. But real nice plastic spinner, plastic nose cone fitting here. Air intake in the front that goes into the motor. You can see the motor. I'll see if I can turn that around. You can see that it's a 42, let's see, a 4258 550 kV. So, and then across the bottom here, as I move across again, this is hard to maneuver, another cooling intake for your speed controller. Speed controller is sitting right there, I believe, and also into the battery compartment area as well. Underneath, really nice wheel for touching down on. This is a big wheel, folks, so if you got big grass, you should be okay with this. It looks like it's a 2.5 to 3 inch wheel roughly, if I'm going to just take a ballpark guess. And then moving along the sides here, look at the finish on this thing. I'm blown away. You see it shining back in the reflection here. You can see how smooth of a finish this thing is. If you couldn't see those beads, it would be hard to tell it was foam. These are your latch mechanisms where your whole wing slides into here with that huge spar goes in there. You can see how, again, how big that darn thing is. And then you slide your wing in. All your connections are made with this port right here. And then those little latch mechanisms that you squeeze in, lock it in place. The wing comes off just as easy for transport. So obviously they thought pretty heavily about transporting this airplane. And then here's your sort of cam lock mechanism. I'm trying to get this thing down here. You can see how your tail goes on at about a, looks like a 10, 15, 20 degree angle here. It goes in with that tube spar, it plugs in, and then the whole tail turns and locks into place. And again, we have another one of these latch mechanisms that locks it in place. You do have to make two connections for your elevator and your rudder here. However, the tail comes off just as easily, just by pulling this latch mechanism back, rotating your tail. So if you're worried about having a large glider not being able to transport it, it is absolutely not a problem with this FMS airplane. They have planned ahead for all of that stuff. Now this pilot comes out, and I'll show you. There's a little table down there, a little gray table, rectangular. You can see it down there. That's what this table is for right here, to add another pilot if you want to take that panel out. So with that, I'm going to unlatch this canopy and see if I can get this thing off. This is big and it is tough to maneuver in here, but I'm going to show you what's inside here. Huge battery bay. I'm not sure why they put a An XT60 is what that looks like, not a 90, I think. Let me take a closer look, get in there with another hand here. Yeah, it looks like an XT60. That's all it really needs, but most people with 6-cell batteries have an EC5, so it'd be nice to have an EC5. I'll probably end up making an adapter because it's not a real high-load airplane. You can see your Predator 70-amp speed controller, wires very nicely routed all the way through there and taped together. They even have a little tab to lock that in place. Got your own Velcro right here too that you can attach to your battery if you want to use a Velcro strap. But lots of spar, lots of fuselage spar running across here. They obviously thought about rigidity of the airplane, and this is a simple plane. Just a 6-channel airplane, folks. But lots of battery bay compartment there. Even the battery bay is shining at me. You can see again how smooth this finish is all the way around. And then the underside of the canopy, you can see it is ventilated, and again, I think you can unscrew those and replace, put a new pilot on there if you want to, and just put a different guy in there. It is ventilated. I think there's a hole or two. There's a hole in the back of the canopy. That helps to remove some of the heat, so your inside of the canopy doesn't you know, bubble up or blister. So tongue and groove goes in the front here. Again, FMS has really gotten away from using a lot of magnets. They still use them on some planes, but the latch mechanism is getting to be the most popular way to do it, and you can see I can actually hold the entire weight of the airplane with just the canopy. It's a very strong latch. So, but overall, folks, A+++. I can't wait to get this thing out to the flying field. This is going to be simply awesome. I think this is going to be a super popular airplane. This is just spectacular. I'm blown away by the fit, the finish, and just the sheer size and magnitude of this airplane. It's simply awesome. Now, I thought I'd show you guys how easy that this airplane is to assemble and how nice these plastic fittings are. Keep in mind, this is the full production version of the airplane. I normally get the samples, but my time's been short lately, so sometimes the sample planes, the early ones, take a little time because they need a lot more troubleshooting, but this is full production, folks, so this is what you're going to get out of the box, and really how nice this is. And this is one huge spar that literally goes right in here. It slides into place real nice, and it just hits a nice stopper back there. You've got your latch mechanism that's spring-loaded and your cams here. And then I'll show you here what this side looks like. It has a really nice receiver tube for your two servo plugins. Those are your rudder and your elevator, and you've got your little cam locks and your little hole there. So really all you do is just line up those two holes right there, and I'll see if I can do this right here on film for you. Just get that thing to slide in place, and what's going to happen is you're going to make your two connections right here, your two wires together like you typically do. You're going to drop this thing down in, find the hole where this fits into place, and it literally, like a glove, fits. You turn this, and it snaps right into place. That's it, guys. The latch works perfectly, and this thing is lined up with a really nice carbon spar. This thing is very solid with little to no wiggle, and it removes just as easy. That's the nice thing, is you just grab this latch, pull it back, you turn the tail of this thing, and you pull it right out, and that's it. So if you have a small car and you want to transport this huge glider, it's easy enough to do it. So your wings snap on, your elevator horizontal stabilizer snaps on, and your tail section snaps on. You have just these two connections to make right here, and that's it. The rest of them are all done by wireless wing connectors. So this is fantastic, guys. Hats off to FMS for making such an easy, large airplane to snap together. Last but not least is the instruction manual. Not that you need it, but it's in 4 different languages. So you can see right here the parts we looked at all snap together. Notice not even any screws, just 2 spars, fuselage, wings, and tail surfaces. Again, your wingspan, all your specs, speed controller, battery needed. I have some 5070Cs I'm probably going to put in this thing, give it a little bit of a performance boost. And you can see how easy this thing is to put together, just as I showed you guys. Again, I didn't even look at the manual until now, but you can see how easy it all snaps together. This actually shows the old bullet style, which I think was originally the first plan, but again, this airplane has those new wireless connectors that are really sweet. Shows the tail rotating in position, the canopy and battery going in place. See, they show an EC5 right there. You see what I'm talking about? I'm not sure why they used an XT60, but I'll talk to the factory about that a little bit. But anyway, that's about it, guys. That's, I think, it for the end of the instruction manual. Actually, they do give you a little bit of info here. Here's the CG, 90 to 95 millimeters. Again, I'll test that out and see how that works out a little bit. And gliders usually have a CG a little bit farther aft because they do glide most of the time. But I'll talk about that as I fly the airplane more. Usually they have a ESC programming guide, but there really wasn't one in here. The rest of this is Chinese, French, German, and then English. So it's a big manual, but you only need to read a little bit of it. So anyway, guys, really sweet. I can't wait to get this out. Again, tail rotates and snaps into place. It can make two connections. Your horizontal stabilizer literally just snaps in. Make sure that spring-loaded pin pops into place. And then your wings, you throw your spar in, you snap them in with those two little squeeze connectors. Boom, you're done with this thing, guys. You put a receiver and a battery in it, and you go fly. So FMS is really kicking butt with the just minimal, fastest time out of the box airplane to fly. All that with quality, fit, and finish. Just superior fit and finish. This is just fantastic. I cannot wait to get this one out there, and I will have this at all the shows as well. So be looking for the flight demo, guys. I'm going to put that out here just as soon as I can get out there and get this get going. But anyway, guys, check this out at fmsmodel.com, Horizon Hobby as well. Thanks for watching RC Informer, guys, and as always, we'll see you next time.